Let me just say that Wolf Warrior 2 is a fantastic action movie. Bit controversial when it comes to politics and teensy bit of Chinese nationalism. And I'm sure a lot of people make videos about it. I may in the future also do something when it comes to Chinese nationalism in the movie, even though I am really want to put politics out of this channel rather than focus on storytelling and everything to do with it. So, frankly, just quickly, because it's gonna be easier if we address elephant in the room. I grew up in post-communistic country. Communism ended in my homeland just 3 years before I was born. So, just before I was born, everything was going towards east. After I was born, everything was going towards west, as in America. Later, around the time I was old enough to vote and care about politics, everything was going towards European Union. Frankly, it's an action movie. Americans will make movie where America is the best. Russians will make movie where Russia is the best. Now Chinese made a movie where China is the best. Now, if I'm gonna make video about Wolf Warriors 2 and I'm gonna address Chinese nationalism, I'm not gonna take it from political side, rather the writing side, how to make it teensy bit more subtle. Again, there are moments in this movie. Point being, this movie has Wu Jing, which I may or may not have small heterosexual man crush on. Just small one, okay? Guy is cool. Guy is freaking cool. It's straight up Chinese John Wick. That guy is bad space ass. He kills about 5 billion people in this movie. He does it with guns, pistols, machine guns, knives. One time, not to spoil, but there's a really weird scene with bazooka. This guy is just badass. Now, I'm not saying the movie is perfect. It's a bit too long and it's a bit chaotic, and it has one big, terrible, very good, no bad, no good flaw when it comes to the story, and I'm gonna talk about it in this video and suggest how to fix it. In Wolf Warrior 2, Wu Jing plays man named Lang Feng, former member of the Chinese super secret special forces unit called Wolf Warriors, as you guessed it. Counter-terrorist unit, badasses, absolutely great. And I don't want to go into spoilers. Trust me, everything what I'm about to tell you, at least most of it, let's put it like that, it's before title card, right? Okay, let's go. Lan Fang, played by Wu Jing, is member of Wolf Warriors. While trying to help his friend's family, his friend fell in combat. He and a couple others went to, on the funeral, help his family, but crooked landlord wanted to demolish their house. So Lang Fang destroys about 50 people, including cops. Okay, probably could have thought it better, but what can you do? He loses his job, but he gets married to his girlfriend from prison. His girlfriend goes to mission in Africa, also in military, now wife. She gets kidnapped and murdered. So after getting out of prison, Lang Feng looks for her. This is before title card. There's also war brewing, and there is also a virus that needs to be started, and there are people later in factory that needs to be rescued. Meaning, in this movie, Wu Jing plays guy named Lang Feng who needs to avenge his wife. He also plays guy named Lang Feng who needs to stop the war. He also plays guy named Lang Feng who must save those people in factory who are Chinese and African workers stuck in a factory who might be genocided by rebels and mercenaries who are bad guys. And he also plays guy named Lang Feng who's going to rescue the doctor who's trying to solve this virus who is wrecking Africa. At this point, and again, okay, it's a great movie, fun movie, great action, great choreography, some snappy dialogues, and honestly, this could be commercial for toilet paper, and Wu Jing would be just carrying that with his charisma and swag. At this point, after what I just told you, you might be wondering, as I was about halfway through the movie, what exactly is this movie about, other than Wu Jing being badass? Because all of those things I mentioned to you are absolutely most important, and they're absolutely number one priority at the scene when they're happening. And what can happen if you didn't have this problem, good for you. But when you write a story like this and you overclock it, what could happen is that moment your audience starts focusing on something and understand the stake, you quickly switch it to something else and then back. This type of writing will work for at least 12 episode long TV show, not for 2 hour long movies. And that's what's important of side story or B story or A plot, B plot, C plot. You see when writing, and I'm gonna give few recommendations during this sort of recommended reading or rather viewing during this short video. I would first and foremost recommend Closer Look's video on how to end movie. It compares Matrix 1 and Casino Royale, but in doing so, even if it's not main point of the video, he does explain a lot about A story, B story, C story, D story, however you want to have them, but most people stack to 2 to 5. What it is, you have something that's obviously happening, and then you have side stories, so your movie isn't boring, so it's not just one thing all the time. For example, if we were to make book or movie right now, I would say that our hero or heroine, whatever works for you, man, woman, everything in between, that is not my concern. Our hero, I'm gonna use this gender neutral, our hero needs to save the world from bad guys. That's a story. That is something tangible, something that we see, and that's something general that is, for lack of better term, taking place outside of main character. It's stop the terrorist. It's find out where the bomb is. It's rescue president daughter. Then B story can be direct opposite in the sense that it's something less visible with naked eye and it's happening something inside main character. Let's say that main character has PTSD and has hard time dealing with being back in war, or because of this heroing war, be it maybe superhero, maybe he's vampire hunter, maybe he's super agent or military, maybe our main character has some trauma from past that he has to deal with, and because this job, or like I said, because of the job, main character loses his wife. His wife says, you know what, I had enough. She takes the kids, he's alone now. Maybe our character developed fear of combat. He just got in the situation he couldn't deal with. Maybe he got his friends killed and now he's afraid to lead people. And he needs to get over that. Maybe I usually don't like characters who are 100% pacifistic, because in any real life scenario, as my problem with most of superheroes, even Batman, which I love, but for one reason and one reason only, Green Arrow has one up on Batman, because Green Arrow kills people when he has to. But easiest way, whole different video or a whole different podcast even. One way how to solve pacifistic hero is say that our main character has phobia of killing people. Maybe he got into some bad exchange. Maybe he shot civilian. There was side character in Die Hard who shot young kid and he couldn't do it. He couldn't make himself to pull gun ever again. And now maybe in the story we are making on the spot, my main character, or hero or heroine, killed someone innocent, and now they cannot bring themselves to kill anyone else. And even if they're trying to save the world, save the girls or boy, save the children, save the president's daughter, stop the terrorists from nuking the world, now they using non-lethal tactics. They broke hand, they patch someone's out, they break leg, they throw someone across the window or across the car, but they cannot force themselves to kill. And they know that before story is over, they might be forced to kill main baddie, and that is a B story. Because remember, A story is save the world, B story is get over main character's trauma. C story then could be my main character maybe finds friends or love interest and starts opening up to them, and this character can help them to grow and get over their trauma, and that way say save the world. And maybe there's a D story who's completely different character, kind of like sidekick character, who looks up to hero from elder days when hero was still badass, and this character now sees that hero is just a broken man, and this sidekick or psychic wannabe must go through their own character development and realize if they're gonna give up the hero game because they don't want to end up like main character, or they're gonna push even harder and avoid his or her mistake. So now we have, in this example we have A story, save the world, B story, character's trauma, C story, character's friend or love interest, and D story then would be sidekick who comes in the end and gets and saves them, and that inspires main character to save the world. And two important points. One, those four side stories those four plots do not have equal standing, in the sense that they are not the most important thing in the world. A story is saving the world. That is more important than a character's trauma, which is more important than making friendship or love with this love interest, which is more important than, let's say, the sidekick character. But opposite of that, there's other priority where those side stories go, even though they're not as important at the moment. Obviously, saving the world is more important than someone's trauma. They still feed into each other. So from bottom up, sidekick tries hard and then inspires love interest to give hero one more chance. So from D to C, then love interest gives one more chance and helps hero get over his trauma. That's C to B, and now B to A with overworking through his trauma, hero now can save the world. They are different, they have different standing, but they fit into each other and they make each other better, and in the end they come together and they fix the problem and they solved it. Problem with Wolf Warror 2, which for fifth time and probably not last time before this video is over, great action fix, hilarious, at some points cringy if you try to look at politics. Frankly, I just ignore that shit. That is fun movie, but like I said in earlier point, you have multiple plot points, then seeing equally important. Avenging wife is as important as stopping war, who's as important as saving people from factory. He's not trying to stop the war, but avenging seems as important as saving the doctor and dealing with war and saving people from factory. And in the end, my biggest gripe when it comes to this movie from storytelling standpoint is that to be perfectly honest, hospital story and virus story and doctor story, even though I like that character, I'm looking at the IMDb, it's actress is Selena Jade, and she plays Rachel Prescott Smith. I really love that lady. She's gorgeous and she can act and she has very sympathetic character. All of those characters really gel well together. Thing is, that story with virus does absolutely nothing. I mean, there's a little bit of motivation for main bad guy play. Oh my god, if you think I have main crush on Jing, Frank Grillo, that is cool. Cross and Borrow, Skull Bones, keep forgetting his superhero name or supervillain. He's a bad guy from Captain America 2, the tough rival to Captain America, the guy who goes on the mission with him eventually. Spoiler for Civil War, I guess. Sorry, from Winter Soldier, but you had time, that movie is old. Frank Grillo and Wu Jing, oh my god, they are awesome, but The thing is, Frank Grillo, Big Daddy, he's a mercenary. Even if he has some of his own, he doesn't follow orders of his client all the time, and he steals every scene he's in. He's a mercenary. He didn't need virus story to get solution for virus, to get antidote to virus, to have motivation to kill Wu Jing and kill people in factory. So my solution for this movie is to cut completely the storyline about virus and a hospital, throw it in the trash, straight up snips. Honestly, I'm making joke like straight up cut it, but I feel like for most part, if you literally remove the scenes when they're talking about virus and hospital, movie wouldn't lose much. Keep focus on the factory, saving people from factory and getting out of the dangerous war zone, and this would be much better movie. And what it brings to us as writers or fans of writing, fans of storytelling. If you're writing story, and I don't care if it's your book, if it's your fan fiction, even if you don't want to be writer, writing is fun and it really fuels you. Not everyone feels it as strong about it as I do, but if Brandon Sanderson opens, probably best writer who exists, Brandon Sanderson, when he opens his seminar by saying, this isn't just for people who want to be writers. Writing is a great hobby. Try it. It's fun. You don't need to be trying to get just because you play basketball in the weekend doesn't mean you have to try to get into NBA. Now, I would only be happy if anyone who wants to try writing would contact me on my Twitter or email or leave a comment so we can talk about it. All the support for you, all the courage, you can do it. If moron like me can write, so can everyone. But what we can take as a lesson from this movie is sometimes you just gotta let things go. I do full rewrites, or at least I used to. I don't have problem to cut things out. That's not because I'm better writer, it's just because my brain is wired differently. But I always joked about it. I'm probably only writer who doesn't care about cutting out things, and I went through it just few days ago, and that was karma straight up in action. I had to cut some characters I love, and it was painful. But I realized that some of my favorite characters in the story just had to be let go. And when I asked my friends on Twitter and such, fellow writers, what would they, that I'm making podcasts, which I'm going to be uploading, and I would love them to tell me what's some problem they would like to work on. Almost universally, all my writer friends said that, yeah, other than writer's block, killing your darlings, letting the scene you create, letting the characters you create them go. And honestly, for writers, solution I do, other than just buckle up and force yourself to do it, you don't have to hit shift delete. Take your scenes that doesn't work and save them into different notepad, into different file, and you can use them for completely different story. I cut out two of my favorite characters from my book, and I'm probably gonna give them their own book, or at least novella or short story. And in the same time, the Wu Jing saving the doctor and dealing with virus, that could be its own movie. I'm not saying that those parts of the movie were bad. I'm saying they didn't bring anything for the rest, and they were too removed from factory setting and war that they just felt like big black eye on the side, on the eye of this movie. You get my point. We're about to hit 20 minutes. This is my first video like this. It's a mess, but if you make this so far, thank you so much for joining me. I would also just quickly recommend few videos. One, if you want to understand setting and politics, not as in making it political, but weird setting in this movie, at least fresh setting for me. Even if I care about international politics, I'm from Central Europe. I usually look at things that are happening in America or Canada or Western Europe. And I was like, what? China in Africa? What? First time I heard about this, when I heard about this movie, and I just couldn't get it through my head. There's a great video, only 10 minutes long and 48 seconds. Wendover Productions, how Africa is becoming China's China. Oh. And if you want to learn a little bit more about Chinese cinema today and their culture, I also found great YouTube channel called Ascended Cinema. This guy made also video essay about patriotism in Chinese cinema and was criticizing a lot of things about it. His video thumbnail is picture from original Wolf Warriors. Either way, both three I mentioned, Ascended Cinema, Closer Look, and the one with how is Africa becoming China's China. Let me just scroll up. Wendover Productions, great YouTube channels. Absolutely recommend. Hope you had fun. If you stick with me all this way, I'm hoping for criticism. I will say that praise makes me feel good, but criticism makes me good. So go ahead, gloves off, and for other than that, hope we see and hear each other next time, and stay awesome.